Hello everyone, welcome to another show today of Chai Paste Talks with Kalpak and I. So today we'll be talking about a company, CCL Products Limited, and this is a company which is into manufacturing of coffee. Okay, so today we can say that our show should be called as Coffee Paste Talks.
About 500,000 metric tons of instant coffee is consumed every year, which is quite a really a big number. And
Yeah.
there are three types of instant coffees. One is spray dried, the other is freeze dried, and the third one is liquid dried. Okay, not liquid dried, liquid coffee.
So from a process perspective, we can say that freeze dried is a superior process.
Exactly. Not just a superior process, it's a more costlier process to make, and the output also is much more. So your Brew Gold, I don't know if you have tried it, or the Nescafe Gold kind of.
Yeah.
So those are typically freeze-dried coffee.
Freeze-dried coffee.
The third type is a small market, which is particularly only for Korea and Japan. These guys like liquid coffee. The global market is growing very tepidly at 2-3%. Okay, because kind of saturated. Okay, premiumization is happening, innovations are happening, but consumption is not really rising. However, that's not the case in India and China, which are predominantly tea drinking countries. And now coffee is really rapidly growing. In our countries, there is 50% excess capacity in coffee. So what that means is that probably the barrier to entry in this business is not very high, and people are very willing to start manufacturing coffee because they're quite confident of demand. However, it's very clear that half of the many of the people will not be able to run their plants at full capacity.
And another observation that I have from this slide is just at the back of your at the back of envelope calculation, if you do, just see the per capita coffee consumption numbers for China and India. Okay, and that's a spot where we are going to discuss on the remaining slides that there is a big potential for coffee consumption to grow.
So CCL was a company started in the mid 90s. Okay. And I'll leave it up to you to discuss the promoters, but I'll quickly tell you the geographies that they're in. They're primarily into the manufacturing or processing of green bean coffee. So these guys import the coffee beans and they process it, and they manufacture all kinds of instant coffee. So they have spray dried capacity, freeze dried capacity, as well as liquid coffee capacities. And after basically processing these, they are exporting it or selling it in the domestic market. Both business models they have. We'll dive into that a little later, but quickly giving you the idea. India, they have plants in Andhra Pradesh, and out of that 20,000 metric tons is spray dry, and 5,000 metric tons or 6,000 metric tons odd is freeze dried. They have a plant in Vietnam as well, and you can see the split that I have mentioned on the slide, and a small trade unit in Switzerland. Okay, so the Switzerland unit contributes about 12 to 15% of the consolidated revenues and a very small proportion of the profits. The major business comes from India and Vietnam plants, but the Switzerland business, they are saying it's important majorly because Europe has a premium market.
So Europe has a premium market, right?
A lot of good connections are built over there, and then they are able to also learn, do better R&D because of having a plant over there.
Okay.
It adds a lot of qualitative value, but not a lot of quantitative value. Whereas Vietnam was something which is a masterstroke in my opinion, because Vietnam is one of the largest coffee producers. Okay. So, and Vietnam also, the government has really done very well in terms of creating and setting up an ecosystem, driving a particular area of business. Okay. So there are a lot of tax breaks in the country. So they are set up in an SEC, and they had tax breaks till 2020. So they paid no tax. And even going forward, there are some positive. They have met some requirements, and they'll still continue to pay no tax for at least some more time, which is a really, really positive thing. Even in India, one of their plants, I think majority of their plants are in SECs. Okay, so they are playing in very interesting markets. If you can see the split between domestic and exports, is that exports dominate their business. About more than 90% of the revenues comes from exports, and a small but rapidly growing number. We'll talk about the domestic market in more detail later, but this gives an overall perspective about where the company operates.
Okay. So I read a few articles about the promoter, Mr. Rajendra Prasad. Okay, and he has gone through some tough days while setting up this company. Okay, and the very fact that they understand the product really well is because they have faced the struggle in their initial days. Okay, so the article that I just mentioned, it detailed very well how the promoters, they tried to work with various governments for setting up these units and promoting coffee. Okay, so they were very instrumental in setting up the coffee promotion council and stuff like that. Okay, so it's been quite a journey for them, and they have come a significant distance, is what I would like to say at this point in time.
This gives a quick idea about what CCL does. It imports or it sources, imports probably is not the right word, it sources coffee beans. The source markets are majorly Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia and Africa, and
Okay.
and also India. So Karnataka, Coorg area belt also, they source a lot of coffee, and it is processed at CCL at any of their three manufacturing centers, and
Yeah.
either exports it or it uses for domestic consumption. Okay, first I'll talk about domestic consumption. Domestic consumption, they have three models of selling it. One is the retail model where you can buy it through your Kirana store. The other is a private label model. So for example, DMart has their own branded coffee. Future Group has its own. Reliance has its own, and I believe most of them actually private label it via CCL. So it's CCL coffee packaged in, say a DMart bottle, and it's being sold. Let's talk about their main business, exports. Interestingly, when a company places the order with CCL, at that point CCL buys the inventory at the cost on that particular day. That's how the
Okay.
contract is made, and CCL charges a fixed processing fee regardless of what the price of the coffee bean is. So, and they charge a fixed processing fee. So what will happen? Say for example, in a year, if coffee prices in the market have fallen, okay,
Yeah.
even if these guys say sell more volume, their revenues might shrink. Okay, because overall coffee, the base price, almost 75% of their total operating cost is the raw material cost, is the coffee cost. Okay, but their profit margins will increase.
Yeah.
Because the raw material is cheaper and their fixed prices on top of that is fixed. It doesn't vary. Okay, so this is not a company that you want to evaluate too much from the revenue side. Okay,
Yeah.
to see the bottom line more, because that's what's important. But it's a very impressive thing that in such an oversupplied market, CCL is able to command a cost plus model from their customers. So these guys have found a very sweet spot in that coffee supply chain. I'm sure there are other sweet spots, but this is a particularly interesting spot. Okay, where I think a masterclass in business management has been showcased by CCL here. It's
Right. The tax planning things that you just spoke in the earlier slides. Yeah, so these are the gross margins, Kalpak. Like you said, the company follows a cost plus model, and because of which you see the gross margins have been fairly constant at about 40%. Okay, and then in 2020 we see the gross margins have shot up to about 50 or 51, 52%. So the thing is, the management has the desire to innovate with products. Okay, and they have time and again shown the intent of bringing in new products on the shelves. Okay, and they have the capability to do it. Basically, they understand the product.
Okay.
Yeah.
So regarding the domestic market, I mean, another thing that I wanted to add here. Okay, if you look at the earnings, the net profits of the company, they've been quite stable. Even we saw the gross margin, but even the EBIT and EBIT, it has been it's a very healthy number. Okay. However, the room for growth is limited. You saw in the earlier slide we showed Nestle and JD are two major manufacturing. CCL is almost a very, very big competitor to them. So that makes the question all the more glaring. Till when can this growth continue? Till when can company go on this straight path? And Abhineet, because of this, I found something very interesting with the domestic business strategy. So the company is taking all the earnings from their exports business, which they have done really well in the last 10, 20 years. And they're slowly trying to create a domestic brand identity. They introduced their own retail brands. Okay, so Continental Coffee, Malgudi, these kind of brands they have introduced. And initial years they only did BTL marketing, and they were able to get quite a decent market share. And then they got in professional management. I think they got somebody in from Dabur, quite a senior guy from
Mr.
Dabur.
Jaipuria, yeah, Mr. Jaipuria from Dabur, yeah.
Quite an expert in this field. So this guy is laying out a strong branding strategy for, let's face it, branding is a really difficult. It's a completely different ballgame from what CCL is used to doing. So basically, what they are saying that in the next 3 years, all the margins that come out from the domestic business will be pumped back majorly in the form of advertising to be able to create the brand. Okay. And they want to be able to reach 10 to 12% of India's market share. And remember, India's market is growing quite rapidly. Okay. So they are currently growing because it's a very low base, 40-50% growth they're delivering year on year. But it remains to be seen because there is a lot of good feedback about their coffees. I haven't gotten the opportunity to try it. I will surely try it, Continental coffee or Malgudi coffee. But the point here is, Abhineet, say in the next 3 years, if they actually were able to achieve 10% backed on the advertising, when the advertising stimulus is removed, will that 10% still remain?
Absolutely.
So that becomes the question. But if that happens, if they are able to transition from their export business to a domestic retail business, domestic retail FMCG has great margins. It has great customer stickiness for a product category like coffee.
Absolutely.
It could be huge for CCL if that they're able to do.
Right. And while you were speaking, Kalpak, I just did some reading between the lines, and you see a young company, rather not a young company, but a young division, which is the domestic division. It's relatively young, okay. And the management has shown the commitment of bringing in professionally qualified people, experienced, in the same industry at a very early stage, okay. So Mr. Jaipuria, he heads the domestic business. Okay, he's the CEO of the domestic business. Now, this, according to me, it speaks about the management's dedication towards this particular business. Okay, because you really need to appreciate it, because not in many family-run businesses you will see this particular act where they are making an outsider in charge of the business at very initial stages. Okay?
Correct.
So that's something I just read while you were speaking. Let's quickly talk about the 10-year numbers, Kalpak. I'm not going to take much time on this particular slide because I think we are exceeding the time. 10-year profits are 994 crores and 10-year cash flow from operations is 945 crores. Now, what this means is credit policies don't affect the business severely. Okay. They have they have the capacity to take cash from operations out from this business. Okay. Now that's something that I would like to highlight is majority of the funds that they have generated in the last 10 years they have invested back. Okay, so like we said, they have made made capacities. Okay, in Vietnam they are domestically making capacities, and that's the reason we see a very relatively a very high number here. But still, despite that, they do have free cash flows. Okay, so even if you take out the capex from the operating cash flows, they have delivered free cash flows. All right. Nothing major spent on acquisitions, so they don't believe in acquisitions probably. Okay. Quickly, I want to highlight that the 10-year CAGR rate in profits is more than the 10-year CAGR rate in sales. Okay, so that means the margins they have been able to deliver superior margins than what they were delivering historically. Okay. Dividends, yes, they have given dividends. Okay, they have given 282 crore rupees of dividends. Now, again, this indicates the management's intent of passing back money or giving back money to the shareholders. Okay. And a very important point that I want to highlight here is they have given a 1:1 bonus in the year 2014. Okay. Now, I think 2015. That's it's not 14. It's 2015. Okay. Now that's for a company like CCL, a 3,000 crore old, 3,000 crore market cap company giving a bonus, it speaks about the management's intent of delivering shareholder value. Okay. And one area which a few investors might find concerning is the debt on their books is growing. Okay, so I think as on June 30th, they have about 250 crores of debt, and I heard the current managing director, he has mentioned very categorically that debt is not going to go away anytime soon, and they intend to be debt free only by 2024. Guys, here's what we have. Okay, so we have a company which is established, and it's trying to diversify itself into a B2C or a consumer company. Now we all see the valuations that these companies HUL and Nestle and Dabur and Marico they enjoy in the Indian markets. And why do they do that? The reason is because it's a consumer company and demand is very predictable. Okay, We have 130 crore mouths to feed. Okay. And the demand is very predictable, and that is the reason these companies get such kind of valuations. Now, talking about the valuations of CCL, it trades at about roughly 18 to 20 price to earnings. Okay, so market today still considers CCL as a B2B story. Okay, there is no element of a B2C company in the valuations of CCL. Okay. So what the story that's playing out here is a steady successful business is funding a startup. That's how I would say it. Okay.
Nice.
So if we talk about the India business as a startup, okay, so the B2B business is going to fund that. Okay. And Kalpak, quickly we can compare it with Reliance. Now, what Reliance has done exactly is using the cash flow from its refining business and petrochemicals business, it was able to develop Jio. Okay. So from a business perspective, I really feel the words that you use, it is a masterstroke. Okay, it is a fantastic thing that they are trying to achieve. But the problem is the competition that they are fighting is mighty. Okay, so they are fighting Nestle's and HULs of the world. Okay, and it remains to be seen how much they will be able to take it, how much they will be able to deliver in the future. Okay, so only time will tell us that how much market share they are able to take from Nestle and HUL. Okay. One point quickly which I want to talk about the structure of the coffee market is Nestle and HUL, they have complete dominance over the market. Okay, so we can say that 50% of the market is held by each one of them, with 1 or 2% here and there where local players are having some kind of a presence. Okay, now for a third player like CCL to create a space for itself in a duopoly market, okay, it's not very difficult. Okay, so if you see tea, okay, you'll find many tea brands which are successful, okay, even locally and nationally. But that's not the case with coffee. Okay, with coffee there are only two national players which people know, which is definitely Nescafe and Brew. There is a clear space for somebody like CCL if they can give new products to the market and they can deliver on the basis of merits of the product. Right. And I think one point which we did not mention is, as on date, CCL is the only company which has capacity for manufacturing of freeze-dried coffees in India. Okay. So both the other companies, Nescafe and HUL, they import their products. Okay. Now that again gives one, a slight edge to the company.
Okay. Smaller companies like Tata Coffee is also another company that is in the market, and I think they have also recently set up a freeze-dried capacity in Vietnam, not within India.
Not in India. Okay. If we talk about the negatives of the business, then definitely now see, Kalpak, what is happening is cash is being used from a successful cash generating machine, and they are trying to experiment something new. Now, I wouldn't hesitate to use the word experiment because they are fighting against a mighty competition. Okay, and it's not a very easy job to be a brand in India. Okay. Of course, the fruits of being a brand in India, we all know what happens to the valuations of companies. Okay, so they are going through a transition phase, I would say, where they are trying to be a B2C company from a B2B company, and such transitions are always risky. Okay, so an investor needs to know that if the branding exercise is not successful, then all the cash flows they'll end up spending it without any outcome in hand. Okay, so that's a risk. Okay, it's a growth story, it's not a value story, but it is a growth story which is driven by competent management. Okay, and very aspirational story. Finally, the verdict, I have already spoken about the verdict in the earlier slide, so just let me talk about the ratings. Business, we have given 4 on 5 because it's a transition. It's a transition from a B2B business to a B2C business. Such setups are risky. They have an element of risk in them. Okay, valuation is definitely not attractive. If you look at it from the intrinsic value perspective, there is still a lot of scope to expect a better valuation. And I would give a 5 on 5 to the promoters for the long track record they have and the intent of delivering shareholder value that they have shown. That's why I would give it a 5 on 5.
Absolutely, Abhinit. So I think we can conclude this session. So what do you guys think of this talk? Let us know in the comment section below, and subscribe to our channel. We intend putting a new video every week. Please share your feedback and hope you enjoyed this cup of hot coffee.